Hey friends, full reactions in the link in the description below, so pause, leave a like, really helps the channel, subscribe, and come back after you watch the reaction for the discussion. Give you some time to do that. Review and commentary starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'm wondering if you guys know the meme from Brooklyn Nine-Nine with Rosa and her dog Arlo. You know what? I'll put it over here in editing, and it reads, I've only had Arlo for a day and a half, but if anything happened to him, I would kill everybody in this room and then myself. And that's how I feel about Eri. And uh, I feel like the rest of the My Hero Academia community probably feels the same way as I do. So I'm willing to bet there's a edited version of that Rosa Arlo meme that says, I've only had Eri for a day and a half. So yeah, let me know if you guys find that somewhere. And I don't know, she's just so cute and small and tiny, and she needs to be protected. Unfortunately, Overhaul has her in the palm of his hand, knows how to manipulate her even, and he started leading Mirio and Deku down that dark alley to threaten Eri with their lives, which I know Nighteye told them to lay low and that they needed not to arouse suspicion, but every inch of my body was just hoping Deku would just grab her and run as fast as he could in any direction, probably towards the strongest nearby hero agency, while Mirio held off Overhaul. Because Mirio's quirk essentially makes him he can't get hurt, so it wouldn't be that big of a danger. So I think he would be able to hold off Overhaul for at least a little bit for Deku to get away. And I guess if he started, if Overhaul started taking hostages, Mirio would have to give in at some point. So yeah, good guys are at such a disadvantage in life in general. And yeah, when they eventually do go after Overhaul, though, it has to be somewhere with no civilians, which means they'll either have to attack whatever secret base they have or somehow draw the Yakuza out into the open where there are no civilians. And it's a shame that it wasn't Nighteye who bumped into Overhaul. He could have used Foresight on him and gained a lot of useful information. Mirio and Deku, though, were just supposed to be doing some low pressure scouting for Deku's first day on the job, and it escalated to something like this. Just way too much. But yeah, Deku really didn't want to let Eri go. I totally get that. Well, first he was shocked beyond belief that they ran directly into Overhaul, right away. And Mirio had the calmness of mind necessary to keep his own emotions in check and also cover for Deku, putting his mask on, trying to shift the conversation away from suspicion about this little girl. And I'm loving Mirio more and more. I guess what I said at the beginning of this commentary also applies to him. I've only had Mirio for 5 episodes, but if anything happened to him, I would kill everybody in this anime and then myself. But yeah, I can definitely see why. I think it was Aizawa. He said that Mirio is the closest to the number 1 spot right now, or maybe it was All Might. I don't know. But we've seen him fight against Class 1A, but he easily overwhelms them. But the thing that really makes me feel like he's closest to number 1 is his personality. It's different from All Might's, but it just somehow screams symbol of peace. And he says he can't save everybody, but he's named Lemillion because he wants to save 1,000,000 people. This boy is so pure and so great. I love him. He's great. But yeah, back to Eri bumping into Deku. What are the chances of that? And then, given that Shigaraki was forced to walk in a circle for 30 minutes at the end of the episode to get to Overhaul's base, it's safe to say there is an elaborate maze down below the surface of the city. Which means while Nighteye and Bubble Girl, such a cute name by the way, while they went to look to survey the Yakuza complex, Eri escaped through one of the numerous tunnel exits, and Overhaul just winds up straight up murdering the guy who let her get away. Which yikes! I would not want to be next in line for that job to look after her. But yeah, Overhaul calls Eri her daughter. I don't know. I mean, he could easily be lying. I don't know if that's really the case. But he's clearly abusing her. Deku notices all the cues that Eri is in trouble. The fear, the trembling, that's pretty obvious. The whispers for help is even more obvious. The bandages, though, for sure. And Deku really didn't want to let her go, but they were given specific orders not to arouse suspicion. But yeah, thanks to Mirio, I think Overhaul thinks they were just wandering around and don't suspect him at all. So, I don't know. I really wish heroes had very discreet trackers with them. Could have placed one on Eri to know her location to be able to find her in the future. Feels like it would be something useful to have around when you're doing reconnaissance missions. And I mean, it's possible it would be found, but given that Yaoyorozu's tracker melded to the Nomu at the training camp wasn't discovered, it might be worth a shot. But unfortunately, we do not have that technology on us at the moment. And we heard Overhaul say that she's important to his plans. That sounds like it's possible he wants to exploit her quirk. And in the outro, we see she made her parent or guardian disappear, possibly. So that's very curious. I don't know if she vanished her into nothingness or if she like teleported her to a different place without her clothes. But yeah, we learned from Nighteye that the villains who stole the ATM machine actually were turned back to normal. So I might be right about Overhaul and his quirk essentially being the advanced version of alchemy from Full Metal Alchemist. So yeah, that'll be interesting to finally see exactly what his quirk is exactly, besides just being able to blow people up. But yeah, back to Shigaraki coming around. Uh, if I was Overhaul, I wouldn't trust Shigaraki at all. Because after last time, I'm pretty sure Shigaraki has a plan and is willing to take down Overhaul to complete that plan. And yeah, the rest of the episode was more about 1A and Deku's relationship with All Might. Todoroki and Bakugo were rather beat up from their licensing exam training, which I really want to see how that happened and why that happened. And Deku was struggling in class because he couldn't stop focusing on Eri and his work study, which, yeah, I totally get. And then Deku talks to All Might about Nighteye, and we get a flashback to All Might right after taking down All for One for the first time. Still intent on being the symbol of peace. And at some point, he's just been too much of a hero. Like, he went through so much. Just he wanted the new the new symbol of peace to be there to take his place before he retired, and the untold amount of stress his body has been under the last few years, I just can't imagine it. But I don't know. He's always sacrificing to help make society a better place. And we learned that Night Eye's foresight is actually not just 1 hour into the future, because that's what he said last time, but maybe he was keeping that information of his quirk a secret, or maybe I just misunderstood. But he can see so many years down the line. So it's just difficult to see when exactly the further down the line is, the further away it is. And I mean, he saw All Might die this year or the next, so I'm hoping that we get some sense that his predictions can be wrong, because that feels like it'll be a big storyline down the future. I hope All Might doesn't die. All Might definitely hasn't given in to death. He's still out there training in his old age and his weakened state, determined not to die. And he can still maintain his big form for like 5 seconds at a time. Maybe that will be enough to get him out of trouble at some point. And actually, I'm curious about Night Eye and how powerful his quirk can be, or how far-reaching his quirk can be. Because shouldn't he know the outcome of Deku's work study? Shouldn't he know if Deku gives up his quirk to Mirio? Or maybe he needs to do, I don't know. But like, he used his foresight on Deku once before, but maybe he can only look as far as he's like actively looking. I don't know. Maybe he was afraid to look into the future because doing so would kind of lock that future into place. If he saw Deku not give up the quirk, that would mean that Deku wouldn't give up the quirk, and there was nothing he could do to like influence that. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't given in to the urge to check who will be the symbol of peace. I mean, he's known Deku for like a few days, but he's been with Mirio for at least a year, and he never gave into temptation and saw that Mirio chose to take or turn down One for All, because that's impressive, right? And I think it definitely was a bit of an oversight not to use Foresight to make Deku and Mirio make sure they didn't run into freaking Overhaul while they were on patrol. I'll admit that, but he admits it at least himself. But yeah, anyway, All Might had accepted that he might die in that fight against All for One. So I'm very glad he's still with us. And now he's staying alive so he can be with Deku and raise him. And he promised his mom that he would raise him, so he's trying to do everything to twist his fate. And yeah, definitely hope we get some proof that Night Eye's foresight can be overcome. And even he wanted to try and defy foresight at some point. So yeah, I really want All Might to live like a full, happy life after all of this, after giving up so much. Like, if anything happens to him, I've only had All Might for 3 seasons, but if anything happens to him, I would kill everybody in this room and then myself. Okay, that's the last time in this episode, I swear. But yeah, this show really knows how to make us love their characters. The fact that I feel this strongly about so many of the characters is a testament to how good they're written. And yeah, Really loving this season so far. I'm gonna give this episode a 9, which seems fair. It's setting up a ton more though. I can feel like it's gonna get very, very emotional, especially when they try to get Eri back. And Deku's gonna. I hope Deku gets to be a big part of that because he's the first person who made contact with her, and she seems to trust him. I don't know. It was a short interaction, but I already want him to be a big part of saving her. Anyway, can't see how this all goes down. Leave a like back. Yeah, leave a like. Really helps with the channel. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, friends.